In this video, we will show you how to replace your AC condenser on this Chevy Tahoe. This will be located behind your front grille. Let's get into it. Okay friends, let's get started on our job. The first thing that you need to do is make sure that you have a professional evacuate the AC refrigerant. Aside from that, before you start taking anything apart, it's a good idea to make sure you have a set of brand new gaskets for the AC condenser lines to the condenser. Now let's move along to removing our upper trim panel. To do this, you'll find that you have 7 black push clips to remove from the area. We'll use a trim tool, get underneath the center to unlock it, and then you can lift it up and out of place. Let's put this right back together, leave it in the unlock position, continue on doing the same to all. Remove your plastic trim panel. Now we can start removing our front grille. On this, you're going to find that you have 4 black plastic retainers. Use a Phillips head screwdriver right in the center, turn these counterclockwise till they stop. That should be the unlock position. After that, there will be one directly underneath it, but I'll continue on along the top area here. Once you have those separated, make your way in between the headlamp and the parking lamp assembly. You're going to use a trim tool with a hook on this. We'll carefully get in between this area and gently pry it straight forward. There is a clip right along this area. Once you have one side broken free, do the exact same thing on the other side of the vehicle. Now let's make our way to the center, just to the right of the hood latch. Remove your 10mm headed bolt and then the grille. With the grille out of the way, let's continue on to dismounting our power steering cooler. On this, you'll find that you have 2 10mm headed bolts holding it in place. Remove the pair. Now we can start removing our lower parking lamp assemblies. To do this, we'll use our flathead screwdriver or a pick. You can get in here, press on this tab to dislodge it. Go ahead and remove each one of your bulb sockets and inspect the bulbs as you go. Replace the bulbs as necessary. Do the same on the other side of the vehicle. Now that we have each of those out of the way, we're going to continue down in this area. On each side of the vehicle, you'll find that you have a 10mm bolt in this area. We're going to remove those. Now that we have that loose, let's continue on to removing a 10mm right along here. And then you'll find that you have a second one inside of this area. Just lift this up and out of the way a little bit. Let's make our way in here. Do the same on the other side of the vehicle. Once you've unbolted all the lower bolts, follow the bracket up to the top. You'll find that you have 2 more 10mm headed bolts holding this in place. Remove the pair. Be a little bit difficult to get to these. There's that one. We'll do the same to the other side. Now we can start removing the AC lines from the AC condenser. Before we start removing our 13mm nuts that hold these lines in place, I'm going to re-mention, before you go ahead and disconnect this, you need to make sure that the entire AC refrigerant system is evacuated. Now while we remove this, keep in mind there might still be a little bit of pressure in this area. Now that we have the mounting hardware off of there, let's go ahead and give this a little wiggle and pull it out of place. Once you have the line off of there, it's important to make sure that you clean and inspect the area. Looking at this one, you can tell that the gasket is in very poor condition. You can use a screwdriver, pick, or a small trim tool to remove that gasket. Now we'll clean and inspect the line to make sure that it is still reusable. Look for pitting, corrosion, or some sort of damage. Assuming it looks good, go ahead and set this one aside for now, and do the exact same thing to the lower line. Now we can remove our last 10mm headed bolt that holds the AC condenser to the vehicle. At this point, we're going to take hold of the AC condenser and this bracket at the same time. Pull the bracket away from the front of the vehicle and start grabbing onto that AC condenser. We're going to slide it towards the driver's side a little bit. At this point, you can lift it up and out of the vehicle. And there it is, friends. Now it's time to prepare our brand new AC condenser for installation. What I mean by that is you'll find on each of the ports, you have a small rubber plug. Go ahead and remove each of those. The next thing you'll want to do is continue on with some PAG oil. You want to add 1 ounce of PAG oil into the port of the AC condenser. I've got a little measuring cup here. We'll fill it up with approximately 1 ounce and put it into the port of the AC condenser. Now, once we have our PAG oil in there, we're going to continue on with our 2 new mounting studs. We'll take these and we'll start them in by hand so we're sure that we are not cross-threading them into position. Once it's bottomed out, continue on snugging it with a 5mm socket. Right there feels like it's bottomed out. We'll just take it a little bit further, give it a wiggle, make sure it's secure. Do the exact same thing to the other mounting stud. Now let's take a little bit of that PAG oil, we'll put it on our gloved finger, and apply some to each one of our brand new gaskets. After you have it on there, continue on to putting the gaskets on the lines. Now we can take that AC condenser and carefully put it in place. While we slide it down in here, be extremely careful not to damage the cooling fins on the AC condenser or the radiator located behind it. Now we'll slide this towards the passenger side, aligning our upper mounting bolt. We'll start in that upper mounting bolt. We'll get back to tightening this later. Continue on to your two AC refrigerant lines. Let's start with this upper line. Slide it into place. Once it's in place, continue on with your 13mm headed mounting nut. Once you have that nut snug, continue on to torquing it to 12 foot-pounds, which also equals 144 inch-pounds. Now that we have that torqued, let's do the same to the lower line. Let's give that a little wiggle. Should slide right in. Now let's start resecuring our bracket. We're going to start with the top bolts, but when we do this, we're only going to start them in, leaving this loose so we can maneuver it around, and then we'll continue on to our 4 lower mounting bolts. Now I'll grab 2 of my long bolts for down along the bottom. We'll start these in along here. Do the same on the other side. After that, we can snug all 6 of these mounting bolts. All right, let's tighten them up. A little bit hard to get into this area. That one's nice and tight. Grab that bracket, make sure it's secured to the vehicle. Now let's continue on to our 2 10mm lower mounting bolts. Get this in here. Now we can reattach our power steering cooler. We'll do that using two 10mm headed mounting bolts. For the top one, you'll find that that goes through the AC condenser as well. Now we can start tightening these. Once you have this side tight, let's also tighten the mounting bolt on the far corner that we had started in. Now we can reinstall our parking lamp assembly. Take each of these and put them in place. Now while you're looking at this, you'll find that you have a hook along the inboard side. That goes into this plastic area. Get that lined up. Now we can swing this over, align our locking clip, and press it into position. Give that a wiggle to make sure it's completely secure, and do the same on the other side of the vehicle. Now it's time to install our grille. Let's bring this over and slide it into place, aligning our upper mounting bolt hole. Now we're going to start this mounting bolt in, but leave it loose. Now let's continue on to our 4 plastic retainers. We'll use our Phillips head, turn these counterclockwise, press in the grille, and then turn them clockwise to lock them in. Now make your way to each side. We're going to press this in. Now we can finish tightening that 10mm mounting bolt in the center. Now we can install our plastic trim panel along the top. Align all 7 of your push clip holes. Start in the push clips. Lock them in by pressing in the center. Okay friends, we fully installed our AC condenser. At this point, it's time to start refilling the AC system. Have that done by a trained professional, and then take it for a road test. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.